starting with the black bean. Here, you know, one of my little tips and tricks in the kitchen always is to set up what the amazing French chefs call a mise en place, which means having everything that you need right kind of in arm's reach. It's all there, it's all ready to go. So here's our mise en place for the black bean burger. So you can see kind of the bases here are black beans. We've got a sweet potato. So here's a, you know, here's a actual sweet potato, but I've done a little bit of prep work here. So I just boiled it in some salted water. So that's ready to go. And we have a mix of spices. So we've got smoked paprika, some onion, garlic, black pepper, some chipotle. And I think that kind of rounds out and salt, of course. And then another base of the burger are these rolled oats. So actually we're gonna start with this. So I'm gonna take about 1.5 cups of the rolled oats here over to my little nifty Cuisinart. So if you don't have a Cuisinart in your kitchen, I would encourage you can totally use a blender. Just a simple household blender will do the trick. So we'll do 1.5 cups here, just like that. And we will pulse those up, perfect. And I'm just gonna set those here into my bowl. So that's our dry base. Okay. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take about 1 cup of these sweet potatoes here. So grab my cup here, and we're gonna mash these a little bit just to soften them up. And like I said, I pre-cooked them, so you don't have to wait around for us to cook our sweet potatoes, but I pre-cooked them so they're nice and soft, again, in salted boiling water. That actually really, the salt in the water, you don't want to put too much, but that helps build our flavor profile here. So, so I'm just kind of, you can see here, just mashing them up in the bowl. So our goal is about 1 cup. So let me get those mushed up a bit. There we go. Perfect. All righty. So that looks good. I'm going to measure about 1 cup again. Back into here. That looks about right. Perfect. So there's our cup of sweet potatoes. I'm just going to throw this back in here really quick. And then we're going to do the same with about 1 cup of black beans. So kind of mashing them as well, just eyeballing it a bit. These are just drained completely out of the can. I don't know how yeah, you guys can see it in there, the camera angle. So I'm just mashing these. You can kind of leave a few whole. It really depends on the texture that you're interested in. So it's nice to have some mashed up and then some that are left whole to give a little bit of a different texture here. So that looks pretty good to me. Perfect. So I'm going to add that now into the bowl here. Perfect. All right, so that's our sweet potato and our black bean and our base. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my pre-measured spices. So these will go into the mix as well. And I'll just get a spoon. So what we're going to do is just allow this to kind of all marry together, the flavors. So we're going to let it kind of sit and get it nice and mixed. Sometimes it helps to just get your hands involved. So my hands are nice and washed, so I'm gonna use them to really get this mixture to come together. sometimes if it's a little dry, which this actually seems like it's going to work out well, but you can actually reserve a little bit of the liquid from the black beans when you open them, just to make sure that it has a nice consistency. But I can really feel here, and you can kind of see that it's coming together really, really nicely. So these will form up perfectly, I think. So we're going to allow this to just come together a bit. I'll wash my hand here. So convenient, our little Blue Zones kitchen. All right, so while I'm letting this, the flavors marry in this mixture, I'm gonna go ahead and make a nice little sauce. So what's really yummy about this burger when it all comes together is it has lots of really nice textures and flavors. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take some pepitas. So these are pumpkin seeds, really, really healthy. And we're gonna take about a half cup of these, and I'm gonna roast them really quickly here. And so I'm gonna roast them in a dry pan. So I'm gonna allow this to warm up here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put a half a cup of pepita. So these are raw, unsalted. And then we're also going to add those once they're done to, this is a pre-bought salsa that I got from the store. But, you know, I like to read labels. This is another piece that I really like to pay attention to. And there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 ingredients in here. I can pronounce all of them. So that's a good thing to pay attention to. If you start reading labels and there are things on there that you don't even know how to pronounce, usually a general rule of thumb is that you shouldn't be eating it. If you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. That's what our friend Michael Pollan talks about a lot. All right, so this is pretty warm now, I can tell. So I'm going to measure out about a half cup, more or less, in there. And I'm just going to let this roast for just a bit. I turn down the heat. And really, this is just all about time. You kind of turn on your senses. So what I do is I pay attention to my nose here. And once I start, kind of keep them moving. Once I start to smell them, they're done. Time to get them off. So there's a very fine line between toasting your nuts perfectly and having them burn and smell and be a disaster. So this is not really something you walk away from. You kind of pay attention to it and keep them moving. But they will get nice and brown pretty quickly. And in the meantime, I'm going to use our nifty little Cuisinart again. And I'm going to put same equivalent amount of the green salsa in there, which we'll then add our pepitas to. Oh yeah, they're starting to go. Ooh, we're getting close. I can smell them almost. There's a nice brown color coming into many of them. So again, this is a really nice way to just deepen and complexify, is that a word? The flavor profile. So yeah, I think they're just getting there. You can also start to hear them. So this is all about the senses, smelling and hearing. I can start to hear them get a little bit crispy. I think I'm going to call it. They look good. All right, and into this they go. And I'm just going to put this back on real quick. We're going to whisk those up really quickly. This, you need to kind of push them down a few times. But this is such a nice sauce to add with our burger because it gives a little bit of spice, a little bit of crunch, and a lot of depth. Okay, it's looking pretty much perfect. One more time, maybe. I wish there have been so many cool advancements with Zoom during this time. I wish they were able to develop a thing so you could have like smell-o-vision, so you could smell the goodness that's happening in here right now. All right, so that looks perfect, I think. So we're gonna come on back over here and we're gonna start to actually shape our patties. I'll scoot this out of the way. So here's our mixture. You can kind of see a good look at it. Whoop! You almost got a really good look at it. So basically what we're gonna do now is kind of take this and we're gonna form simple, yummy patties. And you can see the consistency is perfect. If it was a little bit drier, it wouldn't come together as easily, but this is really, really lovely. And you can totally depend, on whatever, whatever size burger you're interested in. You can also make a bunch ahead of time and freeze them and thaw them out and eat them for lunch, whatever strikes your fancy. So yeah, I'm gonna just, for this demo, I'm just gonna kind of form up maybe 3 there. That's perfect. And then we'll go ahead and get one of our pans going here. All right, so as that's heating up, I'm gonna get, thank you, perfect. I'm gonna get my oil. So here's some good local California olive oil. So as the pan gets warm, I will get ready to add that. I love cooking out of cast iron. I don't know about you. It's a little bit unwieldy at times, but I love it. So I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil in there. Maybe a bit more actually. Perfect. Yep, so it's make sure it coats the pan entirely here. Right, that should be nice and warm at this point. Okay, so then we're just gonna take our burgers. I'll turn it down just a bit. And I should be able to go in there. Probably could have waited a little bit longer for the oil. You like to hear that sizzle when you add them. So that'll warm up while we're waiting. And so while those are cooking, I wanted to show you another piece of the flavor profile that we're building here. So these are some pickled onions that we're going to add on top of the burger as well. And so this is a really yummy thing, and I love to make these and keep them in my refrigerator. And you can kind of do a batch of them and keep them, and they're good for a couple different weeks. So just a little heads up about what's in here. So this is a red onion, just start with a red onion, slicing it thinly. I basically packed the entire mason jar. I added some water, some white vinegar, and some apple cider vinegar, as well as either maple syrup or honey. So I actually have a beehive at my house. So here's some honey from the hive. This was from our spring flow last year. So you add honey, a little bit of salt, and if you want, red pepper flakes. And then this is just so yummy. This can go on so many different things, but this is a nice addition to the burger. I hear my patties starting to cook a bit here, so come take a look. Yeah, perfect. Starting to cook nicely. Just gonna give them a little flip, coat the other side with oil. Perfect. Great. So then in the meantime, while we're letting those cook, we'll prepare our bun. We're preparing our little kind of topping. I'm having Lisa work hard, moving back and forth. You're doing great. All right. So what we'll do here is that we're going to start with a little bit of ripe avocado. So it's not super mushy, but not rigid hard. So I'm going to go ahead and cut into this guy. Ooh, yum. Looks beautiful. So I'll go ahead and cut that. We're going to add a little bit of avocado here. You can toast the buns as well. Either way, whatever you prefer. So I'm going to add my mashed avocado here. Yum. Have you eaten lunch already? This is looking delicious. So I'll add a little tiny bit of salt. I'm going to go back here and check on my burgers. I can hear them. Give another little flip. Ooh, yeah, starting to get a little bit golden, looking beautiful. All right, so there's our avocado. And we're also going to put a little bit of kale. So kale is one of our power veggies. So I'm going to slice up just a tiny bit of kale. That'll go on our burger. Nice. So we'll kind of add our kale. Yum. Then we'll crack into our pickled onions. Pull out a few of them. So that's going to add like a nice kind of somewhat sweet, a little bit tangy, a little bit crunchy. So again, you can see we're building all these different yummy flavors here. I'm going to check these out. Probably getting pretty close. You can also throw a lid on top of this. Ooh, yeah, those are going to be perfect. And then we'll grab our sauce here. So this is going to go on the other side of our burger, kind of as like a, you know, replacement to some of the other condiments that may not be super healthy for us. And I love this stuff, so, you know, feel free to lather it on because it's very heart healthy for us. All right, so there you have it. We've got all of our yummy ingredients going on here. Yes, yes, yes. Ready for the arrival of our beautiful burger over here. So I'm just going to pull one off. I'll go ahead and lay that right on there. Perfect. And then we'll take our little topper and voila. Good luck getting your mouth around that. But we'll go ahead and you can give it a little cut in half and then we'll be ready for bon appetit. All right. So there we have it. Ooh, yum. Looks pretty good. So there's our Dan Buettner black bean, sweet potato, nutrient-packed burger. And I tell you, this is so filling. I was experimenting with the recipe a little bit, and I'll eat one, and I'm pretty much good to go for the entire day. It's just got so many nutrients in there, superfoods, avocado, all the different flavor profiles. So double thumbs up. I'd love to hear it. If you make this, I'd love to hear reports. So enjoy.